Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Paige here, once again with another video on Arrow Season 5, and this is going to be my review for Episode 6 of Arrow Season 5, otherwise entitled, So It Begins. So there's a lot of hype surrounding this episode, but obviously before we get into it, there will be spoilers for this episode within this review. So if you haven't watched it, you might want to go watch the episode, then come back to this video and discuss what you thought about the episode in the comments below. But let's stop dragging on, let's get into what I thought about this episode. So going into this episode, we knew that this was going to be a big episode this season, especially with the case of Prometheus and his sort of proper introduction. And we got that early on this episode with that scene in the warehouse or factory where Ollie feels that he is being baited by Prometheus. Which obviously was the case. It was one big, oh, by the way, I'm here, you should sort of be scared. It was interesting seeing Ollie as the mayor interacting with Susan Williams, that reporter. As obviously last episode, it was Christopher Chance, or the human target, that was talking to her disguised as Ollie. And Ollie definitely seemed to be getting his flirtation game on. The introduction to Prometheus this episode was pretty damn creepy. The way he was breathing when he was approaching that woman, similar to how he did on the phone earlier on in the episode with Ollie, is just like, as I said, it's just really creepy. And I must say, he sure does love those throwing stars, which we find out a bit more towards the end of the episode. I thought it was good that they showed the political side of Star City and like their view of a crisis within the city. Obviously, it's a plus that they have Ollie in the position of mayor now, so we can see that. However, throwing star killer, you would think journalists would come up with a better name than that, you would think. It's quite insane that Prometheus was able to cause such chaos without even having to do anything. That part where Ollie shoots the arrow into the barrel of the gun though, throughout that scene, was just extremely awesome as well. I liked how Curtis referenced the movie Zodiac, because one, I love that movie, I definitely recommend that everyone watches it. And also it definitely plays into what happens after that. And this is obviously when we get that amazing reveal though, that the victims of Prometheus are anagrams of victims from the list from season 1 that Oliver's father left him. And obviously those names like linked to the undertaking which we saw at the end of season 1. So it was a great way to connect the two seasons and what's going on throughout them. It was good that they gave new Team Arrow some development as they debated the recent reveal of Ollie's kill list and the fact that he kept this a big secret. Because recently, like, new Team Arrow is just sometimes there, they might throw in a joke or two, but them as a group, like those 4 new recruits, I think they do need to do more scenes like that, which I do think we'll get throughout the next couple of episodes. I did love that throwback to season 1 though, with Ollie shooting the tennis balls. Even the shirt that he was wearing sort of looks similar. It might not have been the same, but yeah, it looks similar. The only major negative I had with this episode, which is not really this episode, but it's just basically up to this point this season, is with Artemis's story. You know how she was saying that it was such a struggle for her to come and work with Team Arrow and the Green Arrow, but we never get to see any of that. It's just a bit disappointing, because as I've said before, like all the other characters in here have got some sort of setup or backstory. Even though we got a bit last season with her, basically what she was referencing is that just before she came to new Team Arrow this season, it was a struggle for her, but we never saw any of that. She just rocked up that day. I thought it was smart that they had Felicity tell Detective Billy Malone that she actually worked with the Green Arrow, seeing that she has the whole issue with people keeping secrets from her, so like with the Ragman thing, it would have been very hypocritical if she was keeping secrets from other people that she interacts with on a regular basis. But what an ending though, with Felicity telling Ollie that the throwing stars that Prometheus is using are made up of arrows that he has used over the past 4 years, and they're melted down to form those throwing stars, which funnily enough are sort of shaped like arrowheads. And obviously this links that it must be someone within the Star City Police Department that is doing this, because they have all those arrows from evidence and different bodies that are pulled up. And this is obviously when they edit it, where we get Quentin Lance waking up with scars on his arms where like Prometheus was probably cut, and then seeing one of those arrowhead shaped throwing stars on his table. So obviously what the show is trying to allude to is that, oh, well, Quentin Lance is Prometheus. And it's not. I think and I don't think it's not the case. Quentin Lance is not Prometheus. But what I think they're doing is using the fact that Quentin Lance is now a drunk and he probably wouldn't be able to remember what the hell happened the previous night. And whoever Prometheus is is taking advantage of that, which must mean that either Prometheus is someone that's still within the police department, or it's someone that sort of wants to get revenge on Quentin Lance. Now, we have heard that it's Ollie's actions from Season 1, which alludes to the fact that it's someone from Season 1 that will be doing this to Ollie, but it could be someone from Season 2 that has had an altercation or had a relationship with Quentin Lance as well, that maybe Quentin Lance was at fault for doing something that affected them, which is why Quentin Lance is getting caught up in the whole Prometheus thing as well. But as I said, I'll probably make a video over the weekend going much more in depth with that. But let me know, do you think that Quentin Lance is actually Prometheus? Because I think there's a 0.5% chance that he actually is. But you never know, they might just pull something out of their ass and for some reason Quentin Lance is actually Prometheus. And then obviously we had some flashbacks in this episode, as per usual, setting up Konstantin Kovar. But next episode is a big episode for that. Like, Ollie actually has a proper episode. I think all the flashbacks are with Ollie and Konstantin Kovar. So I don't want to talk about it too much. Next episode is a big one for that. But overall, this episode was really, really good. As I said, the only negative I really had was the whole Artemis thing. And that's like a really small negative because it's not really this episode's fault. It's the episodes beforehand's fault. Like episode 2 really should have dealt with that. But yeah, next episode has the Vigilante in it, so I'm looking forward to it. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed not only the episode of Arrow, but also my video on it. If you did, it'd be very much appreciated if you could leave a like on the video, as well as letting me know in the comment section below what was your favourite part of this episode. And also, if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. I'll have my trailer breakdown for the next episode out later on, the next 12 to 13 hours or something. So keep your eyes out for that. But until then, I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.